Yo, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark. I am the Toy Chic, and if you're new stopping by, much appreciated. We do all kinds of toy, comic, pop culture goodness on this channel. And today, we checking out a Star Wars Holy Grail of mine and Mo's as we crack open this box right here. Very excited to show it off to you guys, get into a little story time, and really enjoy this quest coming to an end from this Holy Grail of mine I've been searching for basically my whole life. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's go. Alright, so I got this package back in November. I was able to get it, but the package did come pretty jacked up, so I opened it right away, gave it a good sweep over, looked okay, put it back in the box, so I haven't really been able to actually take it all the way in, so we're going to kind of look at this one together. It was something, let's go back to give you some context. We're going to go back to 10th grade, and back then, man, I was collecting, I had all the Spawn growing up. My whole room covered in Spawn toys on the wall. I even cut little pieces of paper in squares to put behind the hang tabs, because I hung them on the wall, and then I would put tack, not through the box, but like right where the J-hook was, that would like kind of hold it on there. It didn't really matter, because at the end anyway, when I actually took that stuff off, every box got ripped. The card back got ripped on all of them. They just stuck to the wall, and they were like super sun faded. But anyways, I digress. The whole wall was like covered in the Spawn toys. I was really in Spawn. Love McFarlane. That was my jam back in the day. Comics as well. I was missing a bunch of issues of the comic books, but I really enjoyed it. And I remember going to this kid's house. Well, technically it was this girl's house because it was for his sister, and I want to say her name was like Heather, but who the hell knows anymore. It was 10th grade, so I have no idea these names, only the memory and story in my head. And I think her brother's name was John, could have been Josh, could have been Jack. I think it was Josh though. He was younger, but anyway, I went to his house, and he had, when I went to his room, and it was all covered in Star Wars vintage. All open, just insane. Like, until that time, I never met anyone else that collected like I did. Especially back then, there was no internet or anything, so you kind of like didn't know. Like, I didn't have any friends that collected toys. Still don't even have that many, honestly. But yeah, I remember that his whole room, he had all the stuff, all the ships, play sets, you name it, he had it all. But he was missing, I know he's missing this figure that I'm about to show you. I can't remember if there was more, but he pretty much had everything. And he also had a ton of Spawn stuff. So he had a lot of comic books, a couple figures or whatever. But the comics was like the big thing. He had like a ton of them that I was missing in the early issues. So he's like, yo, you have this figure, trade me this figure and I'll give you all this Spawn stuff. And as a kid, you know, it's always like quantity over quality or whatever. So I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, I don't even like playing with the Star Wars things. And so I was definitely apt to want to trade with him or whatnot. And I did wind up making that trade later. You know, in my mind, I don't remember if I made that trade at his house or in school. I just remember trading it off, but I don't remember where it was. And I really wish I could remember that. But anyways, so I trade this toy off to him, and it's no big deal. Also, to bring context, my parents always got me like the last wave of figures. So I trade this figure for all the Spawn stuff. Super awesome, love it, love Spawn, all this kind of stuff. Now I do my first collection purge many years later. Didn't even think of the Star Wars figures. I did wind up selling my Star Wars figures during that first purge. So any of my loose ones, a lot of them were the last 17. But I didn't care about them. They weren't really worth anything anyway. So I was like, whatever. I don't want to collect the Star Wars. And it wasn't until the first purge where I had a lot of Power of Force 2, like all of those ones, you know, just like everyone else. I collected all those, all the variants, all that crazy stuff, all carded and whatnot. And so, like, I sold off all that stuff. So as I was looking up Star Wars stuff, I was like, you know, let me look at that figure that kid got off of me or whatnot. I looked up the price during that first purge and did see that it was a rare figure and compared to all the other Star Wars figures that are out there. This is a long time ago, so the figures were like really weren't like too expensive. But this figure was like 80 bucks in comparison to a lot of the other figures that were maybe like 12, 15. They just weren't that much. It was like really, really crazy, and I was like, dang it, that little swindler got me. It definitely gave me FOMO for like, who the fuck knows what, 20 years? I don't know. Ever since then, I was like, I have to have this now. I need to get this back. I'm really pissed off that I got rid of it. I think I still have the weapon to this. Somewhere in this collection. It is, I believe, broken though. But I think it is somewhere in here. In any case, I had to get it back. It was 80 bucks. I was like, it can't go up much more. But of course, as we know, toy prices have gone up, but I watched it go up. It went from 80 to 125 to 250 to now we're at about 350, 450 and above, depending on condition. And I was just like, I gotta get this before this thing goes to the freaking moon. I can't afford it anymore. It's getting way past my threshold. I always set a goal when I go away on work, and at the end of that trip, I'll usually set a goal for something to work towards, and this one on my last trip was what I set it for. I was like, I am gonna get that grail before it goes up anymore. I'd already had a few stories to go along with that. We'll get into those ones as I show off this piece right here, which we are about to get into. But yeah, I couldn't take it anymore. I would love to know what happened to the original one. So John, Jack, Josh, whatever your name is. If you're watching this video, if you see this and recognize the story, please hit me up. Let me know what happened. So the figure that this kid took from me swindizzled me that day. Good sir. Man, this thing looks so cool. I know I got to glance at it for a second, but it is like opening it for the first time again. Oh boy. Alright guys. Ready? It is the Amanaman figure, 1985, Return of the Jedi. With the coin on card. Very, very nice. You can see on the back. We're going to do a close-up here in just a second, but you can see you got that classic checklist. Oh my gosh, 92 all the way on there. Wow, wow, wow. Woo, man. I hate this picture, by the way. I hate this picture. Close up on this right now. Like, I don't have a problem. I love this figure, but the face on this card back, as you can see, it just is terrifying to me, and I never wanted to stare at this card that long. But as I've had it and I've looked at pictures of it for so long, I have grown to love it, and I do love the $2.99 sticker on that. That's crazy. That's crazy. This did not cost $2.99. I can tell you that much. It's like 1,000% increase. It's so insane. It's through the moon. Man, this is so cool. So freaking cool. Unpunched? Is that unpunched? Oh, snappy dappies. Snappy dappies. Very, very cool. So for so many years, it has been a grail of mine, and my super grails are things that are never going to leave my collection. I'll definitely die with them, and whoever gets them afterwards will get to enjoy them. But this is definitely one of my tops before I knocked it off the list. And with a lot of those items in my super grails, I do want to have those graded, encased in acrylic, whether it be one that you can, you know, remove the bottom and put other figures in, or actually have it graded. I'd like to have those pieces specifically to really enjoy and be preserved forever, and Amanaman was one of them. I did want him just loose. I really like loose figures, whether they be Turtles or Star Wars, graded, or I wouldn't say graded. I like them in acrylic cases where it just looks so nice. I've seen just too many collections. Shout out to Toy Shop on Tour and Toy Shop, awesome channel. great videos, and they show off a lot of really awesome collectors in their collections, and it really like made me change like my whole view on it. Especially you get to see a lot of really awesome Star Wars collectors that have some great stuff, and I really enjoy what I saw there. So because for a real long time I didn't actually like the coins in here. I'm not a big fan of like the coins or whatnot, so just having the figure loose like I had as a kid was kind of how I wanted to go. But it wasn't until I saw a couple people's collections that had these kind of pieces that are graded with the coin graded separately inside, which I didn't know was a thing until I did more research after I saw that, and that looks like that right there. And it is really awesome. I was like, man, I kind of like want to get it like that now. So after that sunk into my little brain, then I was like, okay, well, I'll piece out the parts. And each of these parts are really pricey. The coin in a really nice, perfect condition without scratches and stuff to get the look, scuffs. You know how coins get messed up. They go for around 65 to 80, whereas the weapon, one of the most expensive as usual, goes for around, it can get up to 150, around 65 to 150, depending on the condition. If it's cracked in half, usually it'll be like around like 65 or whatnot. And then the figure itself is probably going to be around 200 plus, depending on the condition as well. Now you can get these figures in the package and there'll still be paint marks and defects on them from the factory. So if you're looking to get a high grade like I do want for my Grail type figures, I'm always just kind of anal about condition in general, and some things I will buy multiples of. If it's like a figure that scrapes easily or yellows easily when it's white or something, I'll buy a ton until I get a perfect example. And this figure being as expensive as it is, I didn't want that to be the case, and it had already started out to be that way. As I was fortunate enough to find an auction I won with a coin that was peeled out of the container fresh, no scuffs, it looked really nice. I think it was around like $65 or whatnot for that I won. But unfortunately, it got freaking lost in the mail, and that is just super sad. Something that's so vintage and so rare, and just to get lost into the ether after all these years. So that really like sucked. Then I wind up winning a weapon, and I did get that for a good price as well. I would say probably around 85 bucks, and it looked really clean. But when I got it, there were marks on the face of the skull, and that's not going to get me the grade that I wanted, so I had to get rid of that one. And I had the opportunity to win a few figures, but was afraid that they would come scuffed, because a lot of times they have scuffs on the back of the green by the head or on the feet, and it just, I didn't want to deal with that. There's 200 bucks you have to keep shelling out. To put it into perspective, Space Cadet Raph from the Ninja Turtle Vintage line, I bought 6 of him just to get a clear helmet. They like yellow, they fog up, they get scratched, and the only way I'm going to get a really perfect edition of that is to actually buy a carded one. And even carded versions of Space Cadet Raph are fogged up, so it's really annoying. I didn't want to do that with this figure, so I did just decide maybe I can get a really busted up carded version, and I'll just have all the pieces on there, and it'll actually save you money in the long run. This one was in my watch list for a really long time, and the person wound up hitting me up with an offer I couldn't refuse. After looking at the pictures for so long, it did look like it was peeled away from the card back right here. The way he took the pictures, it was like, looked like this was peeling away. I'm like, well, that's fine. It's really yellowed. The last 17 very rare figures to find of the Star Wars vintage line. Very coveted now. Before, you could kind of find them for really cheap at the discount stores, KB, stuff like that back in the day, and now those figures are really coveted. So like I said, I sold off all my loose ones, and if you do have these on card, a lot of times they will yellow. If you can get this figure in a high grade, really minty card, clear bubble, you're probably looking upwards of, oh man, $700-800, if not. They go up there and graded, they're insane. It's just really hard to get a clear bubble of these ones, but it doesn't really matter, because after a while they're all going to turn yellow. It's just the fire retardant plastic I believe they used during the years of the 1985 when these were produced, it tends to yellow really bad, and I hate yellow bubbled figures. Now, I never had this figure single carded as a kid. I actually had the Jabba the Hutt dungeon playset that came with Barada. Did Weequay come in there? No, it was Barada and EV99 and Man. They came in that playset. So that's how I actually received those figures, because I had all those figures. I remember selling those when I did sell my lot of Star Wars. So I would have had that playset. I never had him originally carded like this. So getting him now is also the first time I ever get to hold him in my hand. This figure is always really expensive if you find it at a con or something like that. And unfortunately, because they do yellow after a while, you won't be able to see this figure anyway. But I always had a vision of having this figure graded loose, and the only way to get a perfect version is to get one that's still on card. So gasp and plug your ears, kiddies, because I am going to open this off the card. Now, it won't be right now. It'll be many years in the future when I am old and gray, and I'll probably forget to fucking do it. I have no idea when that will happen, and you guys will have no memory of it either. I won't put it on tape or anything. I'll just do it. I'll do it super perfect. The card will be perfect and amazing still. I just need to get the figure out. But I mean, that is what I always plan to do. The same with the Rancor that I'm missing to complete my Star Wars vintage stuff. You just got to get a perfect one, and that's just what it is. That's not something I do. I do not, and I will shed a tear when I do it, but I will be perfect surgeon when it happens. So very excited to finally have this figure. Knock off a super grail from all my life. It didn't matter. As soon as you get one grail, you're on to the next one. And that's going to wrap up our awesome video for today. I'm so excited. This is so amazing. So amazing. I don't have very many items I need for my Star Wars collection. Most of my Star Wars stuff I do get is Hot Toys, so I'll show those off to you guys one day. Hot Toy Star Wars are amazing. But for the things that I always wanted to have most, you guys can see behind me, we have the first appearance of Cad Bane, the first appearance of Dr. Aphra. Absolutely love that book. First appearance of Asajj Ventress, one of my favorite villains. I don't like the first appearance cover of Darth Maul, but there is a cover I might get to represent. Also, I am only missing Star Wars issue number 42, the first appearance of Boba Fett, and if the gods are willing, Star Wars Clone Wars issue number 1, first appearance of Ahsoka, but I don't think that'll ever happen. So get the Rancor and the Boba Fett comic, and I'm good to go with the collectibles I need for Star Wars. Love that I'm able to finally get a lot of these knocked out of the way and definitely share this amazing piece with you guys today. So cool. Very excited. You know what also is exciting? Something you guys should check out. On a positive note, if you guys are into Puss in Boots, you should definitely make sure you check out Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. It is amazing. It's so good. I had a chance to watch it last night, and woo, A+. Animation is amazing. The story, it's just, why don't they make animation like that? They need to make more like they did with that movie. Just nothing pushed, just an amazing show. And then I was fortunate enough to be able to watch Creed 3 the next day, and that is also an amazing movie as well. Definitely A+ movies, both of them. If you guys want to check out something good with nothing pushed in them, just great movies, great entertaining for you guys for a little bit, definitely make sure you guys check out those movies. And make sure you check out my videos. We're on our road to 50 subscribers, that is, and we're only 5 away. So once we get to 50, I'm going to start bringing you guys some really awesome videos you're not going to want to miss. So help me get to that. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button. You don't even have to hit the like, just to subscribe. But our next video is going to be a comic one, which I'm going to give the giveaway to that away to the only person who commented. Sad sad for me. But to that person, if they pay attention to the comic video, they're gonna get something free. So you got a little bit longer if you want a chance of winning it. Otherwise, I'm giving it away to him. So guys, thank you guys so much for coming, checking out this video, enjoying this super grail with me. Very, very excited to have it. And I guess I'll see you guys on the next one. My name is Mark. I'm the Toy Sheik. Mad love, geek out. May the force be with you. See you on the next one.